Welcome to Paris, the city of love. What can be said about Paris that hasn't been said already? Today, we're flying in Avianca's revamped business class product called Insignia, with destination El Dorado Airport in Bogotá. We are flying business today thanks to an upgrade bid that I placed for this flight. I was hoping for acceptance, waiting for rejection, and it turned out to be a great value. We enjoyed an almost empty CDG Star Alliance lounge, a couple of nice meals, live flatbed for 10 hours, friendly service, and even 40 minutes earlier arrival, which we unfortunately wasted in El Dorado terribly busy migration. Please join us here in this chilly January morning to the massive Charles de Gaulle Airport for our flight to Bogotá. Hurry up, because this is the last boarding call.
Hello travelers, I'm Frank, and I have a passion for travel, and I like to do it a lot. Sometimes I travel for work, sometimes for fun, sometimes I fly in style, sometimes I don't. But every flight, every journey, every airport has a story, and I would love to share those with you. So buckle up and join me as we explore the world together, because this is the last boarding call.
Our flight scheduled departure was 8 a.m. and considering the distance from Paris into Charles de Gaulle, we decided to spend the night at the Ibis Paris Charles de Gaulle Airport, which I booked for USD 154. And it was a good move because it allows us to walk into Roissy-Paul station to take the CDG BAL, which is the Charles de Gaulle Airport People Mover, into Terminal 1 in just 5 minutes. Terminal 1, which is used by a handful of international airliners, was super quiet at Monday morning. We arrived 2 hours prior to the departure time into a quiet Avianca counter and were assisted by a super friendly agent that in a few minutes had us checked in and ready to go past security. Going through passport control and then security was also a breeze and definitely called our attention how quiet this terminal is at this time of day, which prompted me to research how many flights in a given Monday early morning Terminal 1 is, and certainly not many. See, in the space of 6 to 8 a.m., only 7 flights operate in Terminal 1, which properly explains why it looks so quiet. But I'm not complaining, I was just curious. We took a quick look to part of our crew that will operate the flight this morning prior to entering Charles de Gaulle Star Alliance Lounge, which is located before the commonplace duty-free at the upper level. And let's talk about the lounge, the Star Alliance Lounge here in Paris Charles de Gaulle, because I was genuinely impressed. The space is big, with multiple seating areas scattered throughout, and at the time of our visit, it was incredibly quiet. There was no shortage of seating at all, and it felt like we had the place almost to ourselves. The drink selection looked extensive, with everything from soft drinks to wine and spirits neatly laid out and fully stocked. One of the highlights for me was this beautiful cellar-style room in the center of the lounge, and again, empty and peaceful. Definitely a perfect spot for a relaxed drink before the flight. There is also an outdoor terrace with a view to the tarmac, but it was locked in at the time of the visit. Honestly, I don't know if it's ever open, but it would be super cool to see the planes outdoor. Very few airports had that experience nowadays. For food, there was a surprisingly complete spread given the early hour. Fresh fruit, cheese, charcuterie, and warm breakfast options. I went for a toast with mushrooms and a few deli bites, while my travel partner kept it light with just fruit. Overall, it was a calm and comfortable pre-flight experience. Definitely, this lounge is made to see more action than this morning, but that's exactly what you want from this place. We left the lounge when the boarding call was made at 7 a.m., heading to gate 18. And while we walk to our gate, let's talk about the cost of this flight and why we ended up flying in business class, shall we? I bought these tickets approximately 3 months prior to the flying date for $1,200 US or $600 a piece in economy class with a regular seat. At that time, Avianca was the most competitive price considering it's a non-stop flight. Other non-stop options, such as Air France, were considerably more expensive, and the contenders in price, such as Iberia or Air Europa, had a stopover in Madrid, which we didn't like. We wanted the non-stop flight. Then, weeks before, I received an invitation to bid for an upgrade. And since I wanted to give me a treat because I wanted to be rested for returning to work, I did a bit of research. I checked the price of a business class in the same comparable route, with or without stopover, and I found a sweet spot of $500, the price point where my offer won't insult Avianca, but it won't break my bank either. And like I mentioned before, I placed the bid, hoping to get accepted, but waiting for being rejected. We had 2 seats already. And a couple of days before, I got the acceptance email from Avianca. In summary, I considered that the amount of $1,100 was a good value for me, comparing with the route regular price of $2,000. What do you think? Was a good move? Was a good value that I got here? Let me know in the comments, and let's have a look of some amenities of Terminal 1 airside, such as this video game lounge, space for board games, a piano that was being played nicely by a random passenger before we got to the gate. We were the first one boarding the plane and were received nicely by the cabin crew. Avianca's 787 seat configuration for business class is 1-to-1, and like this seat here, there are 28 others in the cabin of this Dreamliner. There are 2 toilets and 1 galley dedicated for business class, obviously at the front of a plane before the cockpit, and another galley that separates the remaining 2 lines of business class seat. After the galley, after the separation, there's all the rows of economy seats. This plane does not have premium economy seating. Our seats for today were 1E and 1K. Since business class was only at 50% capacity, I had 1K for myself, which was a window seat, and I was able to capture the pushback and takeoff from Charles de Gaulle Airport. Boarding took a bit longer, and we were served a selection of water and orange juice while we waited, and we were pushed back from the gate at 8:20 a.m., 20 minutes after our scheduled departure. Weather in Paris wasn't very good and still a bit dark at that time in the morning. We were set for an easterly departure from Paris, and while our Dreamliner taxis through the runway, let's have a look at our plane for today because it is an interesting one. Our ride for today is this 10-year-old 787 Dreamliner with an US registration, November 780 Alpha Victor. This plane is not owned but leased to Avianca, and in the last week has reliably flown to medium and long-haul destinations such as Buenos Aires, Santiago, and Barcelona. Coincidentally, 7 weeks before our flights, this very same plane had her ETOPS capability tested when declaring an emergency over the Atlantic Ocean in a flight from London Heathrow to Bogotá due to an engine malfunction. The pilot safely diverted the flight to Punta Delgada in the Azores Island, and everyone walked out safe. Unfortunately for Avianca, this was the second emergency diversion into Punta Delgada in the space of 4 months, as in the end of August, another 787 Dreamliner had to land in the Azorian island due to an issue with the air compression system. Fortunately for everyone involved, the emergencies were dealt with the utmost competence by the commanding crews. But coming back to our bird for today, after the diversion, the plane resumed operations the very same day, and ever since it has had an excellent punctuality record, and hopefully it will fly us safely to El Dorado in Bogotá. We lined up at runway 26 left, and we will talk about our today's transatlantic crossing after hitting those Rolls-Royce engine routing. departed eastbound from the Paris Charles de Gaulle airport area and reached its cruise altitude over the north of France to start the Atlantic crossing over the ports of Brest. We flew the next 6 hours over the vastness and loneliness of the central Atlantic Ocean to reach the Eastern Antilles by the 7-hour mark. Finally, by the 8 hours, we entered South America over my country, Venezuela, and flew north of the Andes to finally initiate our descent via Cordillera Oriental and land 40 minutes earlier at runway 15 right of El Dorado Airport. Seatbelt was turned off around 10 minutes after takeoff, and now we have time to review what was our home for the next 10 hours. Avianca uses herringbone type of seating, and one thing I noticed is a lot of personal storage space. Seat presentation was good, and what stands out is a big bag for the bedding, where when you lie the seat flat for sleep. Let's have a look at the seats and the other amenities of this one. This is how the seat comes when you enter into the plane, right? And the seat has a generous foot leg, LCD screen, coat hanger, literature pocket with safety instruction and more literature, a bottle of water. This is the table, retractable table with a cup holder and a pencil or cutlery holder. The seat also has a movable armrest to better access in and out the seat, which this is very nice. Foldable headrest. And in terms of seat features, has a reading light that you can control in here. Seat controls. This is the handheld touchscreen remote control for the screen. Headphone jack in, USB A port, universal power outlet, flat as a bed. It has a pre-defined controls, full recline and lie flat, and these controls for manual adjustments. This is the business class amenity kit given by Avianca with a pair of socks, and tissue, lip balm, eye shades, toothpaste, toothbrush. What is this? Earplugs, hand cream, and it comes in two different styles: the blue one and the cream one. It's a nice kit. Time for the lavatory review. This is the front right lavatory, only one right of this Boeing 787-800 Dreamliner of Avianca. The lavatory doesn't feel sticky. It's made of a fly. No amenities like perfume or hand cream. As any other 787 Dreamliner, this has a sensor activated stuff. This is a bit of death things, a bit of malfunctioning here. Tissues. It's not a coat hanger. I don't know what this is. Yep, ashtray. From where smoking was a thing. Coat hangers. Smoke detectors. Ventilation. Toilet self. And diaper change facilities. Clean. Very it's spacious lavatory. You don't feel cramped like in a narrow body. It's, I would say, 7 out of 10. It's time to relax, watch a movie while the service is here. Our service came 40 minutes after takeoff. I ordered for the breakfast. I ordered the cheese souffle with spinach, sausage, croissant, plate of fruits, the dessert, muesli. What is this? This is cheese, spread cheese, and jelly. Looks great. For drink, I got a Coke and bon appetit. So we are 1 hour into the flight. The service has been retrieved, so now it's time to make the bed.
is our comfy bed for the next few hours of the flight.
At the 8th-hour mark, we were served the second service or lunch. Options were beef with mashed potatoes and salmon salad, or braised fish gnocchis with salmon sashimi. I ordered the beef while my travel partner got the fish. Both were delicious.
Nice. Salad, dry fruits, butter. This was nice. It looks yummy. So I'm accompanying with a cold tea, iced tea. So bon appetit.
Service was removed very quickly, and just like that, we were landing at El Dorado 40 minutes early. We got at the gate almost 10 minutes after touching down and disembarked on the first batch of passengers. Then we waited for almost 2 hours at the immigration lane and exited the terminal, having entered one of our beloved countries, Colombia. While we are here in the lane, let's summarize our experience. Well, we suffer here at the El Dorado immigration lanes. The Star Alliance lunch in Terminal 1 of Charles de Gaulle is definitely something to write home about. Check-in and boarding was smooth and friendly. We benefit a lot of an empty Terminal 1 in the morning hour at Paris. The seat was comfortable and offered good privacy, great personal storage space and mobility in and out the seat. The seats felt very good in both the seat mode for when you're eating or working or bed mode for when you are sleeping. The amenity kit was nice but not remarkable. Remove the nice bags and the hand cream and it's like any other economy kit. I think the food was nice. I've seen a lot of backslash for Avianca's business class food in other reviews, but I'm not food expert and everyone's taste is different. I really like the presentation, service and taste of the meals we had in display. The lanes at El Dorado immigration processing are definitely awful, similar to US airports. In general, we had a good flight, a decent business class experience considering the price we paid. There are obviously better products around for only $1,000 for a 10-hour transatlantic flight. I think Avianca serves the purpose. What do you fellow travelers think about it? Have you traveled in Avianca business class lately? Let me know in the comments, and if you are here this far, I'd like to appreciate your viewing and ask you to like, and if you haven't yet, subscribe to my channel. There's a lot of videos in the making, and we are a growing community. I hope this has been informative for you, and I want to thank you for